Hi guys, if you don't already know, I am our new Chief Happiness Officer here at Sports Direct, and I'm here to first talk a little bit about why we need additional happiness here in the corporation, as well as what my plan is to get this off the road, to get this going. So, first of all, let's look into a couple of reasons why we should implement the areas of happiness at work. First of all, three important things to note. Happier employees are more committed to providing a positive experience for customers. They are more willing to go above and beyond in their daily tasks, and more supportive, not only of their colleagues, but also of decision making here higher up at the board level. So, why do we need this? Let's take a look at some of the statistics that I pulled off of a couple of employee or job searching sites. So we've got Indeed and we've got Glassdoor, and overall we scored, well, practically a 3 out of 5, which is not great considering where we want to be, which is at least a 4.5, right? So all of this information is fine and dandy, but what I really wanted to focus on here is the sense of belonging. So this is something that's really being perpetuated through new standards and stereotypes of different employees coming into the workforce, especially in a post-pandemic era. So couple of key takeaways here, and I'm going to move myself around a bit during this presentation. It's just so that we can fully read the slides. So a couple of things to know in the modern workforce. So the world of work is changing, especially after COVID and during this fourth industrial revolution. A lot of jobs are being replaced by machinery, and a lot of people are searching for more meaning and purpose. You know, the job and the workplace isn't just to pay the bills anymore, it's to find meaning in your life and in your personal life. So these are a couple of things that we really need to attend to, especially as we try and rebuild our company culture now and for the future. So, how would we go about implementing theories of happiness in the workplace? Let's take a look at what I've come up with. I've got a three-pronged employee engagement strategy. So the first prong is going to be at the highest level, and that's going to be with our CEO and switching out leadership styles. The second level is going to be organizational initiatives, things that we can do and we can initiate throughout the corporation to make people happier. And third, we're going to encourage employees to take part in individual exercises and activities. And I'm going to talk a lot more about each and every one of these aspects moving forward. So, as we all know, we have recently switched our CEOs, or Mike Ashley has stepped down, and now we've got Michael Murray. I'm sorry you can't see his full last name, but as you guys all know, Michael Murray is our new CEO here at Sports Direct. So a couple of things to note about Mike Ashley's type of culture is that it was very dictatorial, autocratic, and it was a very top-down leadership style. You know, he was a big boss, he made the big decisions, and everybody under him went like that. They went under him, correct? So this created a very closed communication climate, and this is something we really need to avoid moving forward. So now that we have Michael Murray, it's a perfect time to make the structural changes that we need to create a more open communication climate. And to do so, there are a couple of things that we'll need to do, but most importantly, I want to speak about using inclusion when it comes to discussion and different frameworks to increase employee engagement on the daily. Right. So this shift in leadership. So as I mentioned, we currently have a very closed leadership style, and we want open communication through all levels of the company. You might be asking yourself, how do we achieve that? We can achieve this by doing many different things, like discussing problems with lower level executives or creating new projects or team projects for lower level employees to maybe give us some helpful hints for different things that we can do or different things that we may be doing wrong or doing correctly. You know, a suggestion box is always something that can be done on every level, whether it's lower, middle management, or here at the board level. At the top level, there are different things that we can do to make it a more open communication climate. And why do we want an open communication climate? Well, first of all, it aligns with our current company priorities and objectives with the new CEO. And second of all, it encourages employees to speak up, whether it is a new or fresh idea, or if there's something to do with inequalities in the corporate system. So this is very important. As we all know, we have had certain issues with the media publicizing how we are unfair to our employees, which we do not believe to be true, but if we let lower level employees speak out against, whether it is against or for something, we can get a better understanding of what it is to be them. So this is very important because, as you guys all know, we do have a 0 hour contract, which most, if not all, of our lower level or retail employees are at. So this would be very important to boost productivity and get people more involved in the company and company culture, which would in turn lead to more internal growth, internal leadership and managerial growth. The second idea, or the second thing that we will implement, is an employee wellness committee. So this is an organization-wide initiative, one committee, one organization, that at all levels of all members of staff and at all board members they will all look at each and every single one of the employees, and they will assess their well-being and make operational decisions considering the workforce and the well-being simultaneously. You might be asking yourself, how is this done? This is going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost a lot of, man hours to monitor this and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you might be having similar questions to these, but I want to ensure that although this would, yes, require a couple of dedicated individuals that would have to put in a couple of extra man hours, they will be paid for such, and they will be paid at above minimum wage, which is untrue for most of our lower level employees, but we do want to ensure that people are satisfied with work. And again, you might be asking yourself, well, this is just going to cost us money. Well, in the long run, this will save us money. This will save us money in having to introduce people to our company culture. This will save us money in having to hire new employees for those that have decided to go a different direction with their careers simply because they did not or do not like the company culture here. So essentially what I want is I want a community with board level employees looking at every level of employee, from the dishwasher to the horseback rider. I don't know, it's a little crazy, but you get my idea. Anyways, moving on. Individual exercises. So again, what individual exercises? Well, these are things that we can encourage employees to do, whether it's on the job or in their free time, that would boost happiness levels at work. So one important one is meditation, giving employees the time to meditate when they need it or when they feel overwhelmed or stressed. You could be thinking like, hey, it's gonna be coming out of our paychecks because they're gonna be on the job meditating. Well, in actuality, the time it takes to sit down, breathe for a moment, and have a meditation session would be the same amount of time it would take to have a smoke break. So in actuality, this wouldn't harm productivity. If anything, it would boost it substantially. Another thing that we can and will introduce in the future is having a bulletin board or a sports and clubs bulletin board at every physical location for all employees to kind of pin down the sports that they engage in as well as the clubs and activities that they participate in. This is a good way to get employees to communicate with each other, to work with one another and participate in physical activities outside of the workplace. Third of all, we have an activities page. What I was trying to get at here is we will create an online, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. We haven't quite decided on that one yet, but we will create an online site where it would be exclusively for staff members to post and comment on other staff members' pictures. Obviously, the caveat here being that these pictures would be sports related and having some kind of purchase of the Sports Direct equipment in there. So for example, an employee could play soccer on the weekends with their friends, and then they would post a picture of them using Sports Direct gloves or Sports Direct sport or soccer ball or and different things like that. So it would be very interactive. It would be a public account, but only people allowed to post or be posted on the account would be employees middle to lower. So nobody here at the board level would be able to participate in something like this because it's really just to get engagement from people in middle management and below. So what are we trying to do here? We're really just trying to create a greater work-life balance. Encouraging a work-life balance for people is very critical, especially at this junction in time where we're having to deal with these post-COVID measures and people are dealing with that, but also we are in no position to offer any extra paid sick days or extra vacation days. So it is very important for us to really focus on creating a better work-life balance for each and every employee at all levels. And this will in turn improve productivity and our quarterly in-store sales. So the outcomes, I know this is what you guys have all been looking forward to, why we would possibly engage in this, rather than saving our money to do something completely different. First of all, something we have been struggling with is staff turnover. So this would in turn create less staff turnover because people won't be out looking for a different job because they're actually satisfied with the one that they have here with us. This would create higher customer loyalty. As we had discussed before, happier customers are more willing to go above and beyond, and they're just more supportive of us as well as the customers, and they're more engaged in creating a better customer experience. And that's something we definitely need, especially when it comes to our physical retail locations. So this is not something you really need to concern yourself if you're a department working with e-commerce, but since we still have quite a few physical retail locations and a very famous one, very popular one here in Oxford Circus, this is definitely something we need to prioritize first and foremost. Another thing is faster rebound from adverse events. So obviously there was COVID, but before that, we were very publicly scrutinized in the media for not treating our employees well. However, if we were to participate in a lot of these strategies and incorporate all of these strategies into the corporation, then we are less likely to receive that kind of blowback. And more importantly, we're better at rebounding ourselves from that kind of feedback. So here I've listed quite a bit. I'm gonna let some other executives talk over what they think about the proposal, but yeah, thank you guys very much for listening, and I'll talk to you some more later.